Ria TV, True FM.
Say Ria TV, True FM.
On Ria TV,
into True FM 96.1.
what's the meaning of the black barrier?
The black barrier is to tell Joseph Boakai if you don't organize yourself in a respectful manner, we'll take your paper like
You might say what you want to say, but for us, we are here to make sure we build our country, that we are respected. We have donors that are coming because of the confidence.
Some news summary of 12. My name is Hansen the represent. Welcome to News and Analysis 30 minutes of news presentation about Liberia, Africa, and our one world.
Presenting this newscast is proudly sponsored by Orange Liberia and EcoBank Liberia Limited.
How is life after the presidency?
But before the presidency, I said the same life. That's what you see. I live a different life. You know, when I was not president, this life, that's what I live, you know, with my family and
I have a lot of interest in the health sector, the educational sector, and the agriculture sector. Both connecting those things.
We are calling international community to come to intervene for us because, like I just stated previously, we don't know who to trust.
Well, from the news center here, the Renaissance Communications Incorporated, a pleasant good evening. Welcome to News Desk, 45 minutes of news from Liberia, Africa, and the rest of the world. Today is Thursday, March 27, 2025. My name is Marka Davis, presenting in the top stories we are following tonight. President Joseph Boakai launches Liberia's financial education and literacy program, says financial education is key to financial inclusion, essential for sustainable and inclusive economic growth. Catholic priest Daniel George released by Criminal Code E after spending 6 months in prison on allegation of raping a 16-year-old girl in Monrovia. Following violent student protests in Monrovia recently, MCSS Teachers Association and Stay Home Action, after signing an agreement with the Ministry of Education, calls on all teachers to return to the classrooms this Friday. And of the home front, the detention of South Sudan's first Vice President Riek Machar has effectively collapsed the 2018 peace deal that ended the country's 5-year civil war, his party says. The details of these developments, including the news bulletin, voices of the newsmakers, sports, are all part of this presentation. We're taking a short break to be back.
Ria TV, True FM.
Say Ria TV, True FM.
On Ria TV,
into True FM 96.1.
This news program is powered by Orange Liberia and EcoBank Liberia Limited. Up next is the news bulletin with Naketa Roberts.
President Joseph Boakai has launched Liberia's financial education and literacy program and the Pan-African Payment and Settlement System PADS. The initiatives, which are under the auspices of the Central Bank of Liberia, are set to play a critical role in advancing the government's arrest agenda for inclusive development by promoting financial inclusion and strengthening Liberia's economic position. In his launching address, President Boakai commended the commitment to supporting the government's development priorities through policies and initiatives that foster financial empowerment. He emphasized that financial education is a key driver of financial inclusion, which is essential for sustainable and inclusive economic growth. The president said the arrest agenda is about the people and for the people, pointing out that further financial education will empower individuals, particularly women and low-income communities, with the knowledge to effectively manage their finances, start businesses, and contribute to Liberia's economic development. He referenced the 2022 World Bank Index report, which indicated that Liberia's financial inclusion rates stood at 52%, an improvement from 36% in 2017. However, the report also highlighted a gender gap of 15.4%, with women lagging behind in financial access. President Bouaka stressed that targeted financial education initiatives can help bridge the gap and ensure broader financial participation for all Liberians. In another news, President Joseph Boakai has commissioned Abraham Amara Sakol as Liberia's ambassador extraordinary plenipotentiary to the Kingdom of Saudi Arabia. The ceremony held at the executive mansion on Wednesday marks a significant step in strengthening diplomatic ties between Liberia and Saudi Arabia. In remarks, President Bouaka emphasized the importance of fostering bilateral relationship with Saudi Arabia, particularly in areas of economic, education, and investment. An executive mansion release quotes President Bouaka as urging Ambassador Sakol to work diligently in advancing Liberia's interests and deepening the partnership between both nations. The president further charged Ambassador Sakol to be a true representative of Liberia, promoting its value and exploring opportunities that will benefit the country and its people. President Bouaka emphasized that strengthening diplomatic and economic cooperation with Saudi Arabia remains a key priority. In his acceptance remark, Ambassador Amara Sakol expressed gratitude to the Liberian leader for the trust bestowed upon him. He pledged to serve with dedication and to work towards enhancing Liberia's presence and engagement in Saudi Arabia. Catholic priest Daniel George has been released by Criminal Court E after spending 6 months in prison. The priest of the Christ the King Catholic Church was arrested last year for allegedly raping a 16-year-old girl in Oro, Monrovia. The court confirmed to RCI correspondent on Thursday that Judge Serena Galawulu released suspect Daniel George, but without prejudice to the state. This means that prosecuting lawyers can reopen the case when the need arises. Our judicial correspondent further said Judge Galawolo's March 26, 2025 decision to dismiss suspect Daniel George's case was triggered by a motion filed by the defense lawyer to trash the criminal case against his client, consistent with Chapter 18, Section 18.2 of the Criminal Procedural Law of Liberia. Defense petition for dismissal followed prosecuting lawyers' failure to proceed with the matter since Reverend Daniel George was arrested in October 2024. The law states a defendant shall be tried within 2 court terms. It further states that failure on the part of the prosecuting attorney to proceed with the case, the matter can be dismissed. Prior to the court's decision, prosecuting lawyers claimed that the survivor and her mother who reported the matter to the police were refusing to show up in court to provide evidence regarding the matter. Prosecuting lawyers maintained that they could not prosecute the Catholic priest without evidence. The Monrovia Consolidated School System Teachers Association has cut off its go-slow action following an engagement with the Ministry of Education. The signing of the agreement followed street demonstrations by students of the Monrovia Consolidated School Systems recently in Monrovia, demanding the government to address the plights of their teachers. NCSS Teachers Association President Augustine Yonan signed on behalf of the association, while Deputy Education Minister for Instruction Amos Fuller signed for the ministry. The signing witnessed by 7 organizations, including representatives of the Education Secretariat of the National Legislature, among others, mandated MCC teachers to resume their duties and return to the classrooms by Friday, March 28, 2025. Speaking shortly after signing the agreement, MCSS Teachers Association President Augustine Yoyon called off the go-slow action and instructed all teachers and employees to resume work effective Friday, March 28, 2025. For its part, Deputy Minister, that's Education Minister Amos Foley, stressed the need for regular communication between the MCSS Teachers Association and the Education Ministry. The agreement also resolved that all parties continue collaboration to ensure that the clauses in the resolution are respected and fully implemented. The agreement at the same time mandated that the salary adjustment is completed by the end of April 2025. The Education Ministry and Teachers Association also agreed that volunteer teachers are placed on government payroll by the end of May 2025. Renowned human rights lawyer Councillor Tewan Gongo has criticized the majority bloc for what he calls their recent disrespect to the ECOWAS mediation mission in Liberia. Councillor Gongo said he expected members of the majority bloc, headed by Representative Richard Kuhn, to adhere to the recommendations put forward by the ECOWAS delegation to have the leadership crisis resolved. According to him, the action displayed by the majority members of the House in the presence of the visitors prove how they are not respected of the law. Councillor Tewan Gongo, a former presidential candidate, said, considering the contribution of ECOWAS to Liberia, he expected the lawmakers to exhibit some form of tolerance and meet with the delegation. He made the statement on Thursday during a live appearance on Prime FM in Monrovia. At the same time, Councillor Tewan Gongo said if the laws are not applied in removing the Speaker, it could serve as precedent for illegal impeachment proceedings against the President. Councillor Gongo believes that ongoing saga at the lower house should not be given credence, especially when the majority lawmakers are not following the rule of law. According to the Liberian leader, that's the leader of the Liberian People's Party, the current impasse at the House of Representatives is a threat to the peace and democracy of Liberia. Councillor Gongo noted that those who are supporting the illegal removal of the Speaker should take into consideration recommendation and advice from the public over their action. He termed the State of the Nation address delivered by President Joseph Boakai as illegal, owing to the fact that he downplayed the rule of law and reported to the majority bloc. A group claiming to be private security officers have staged a peaceful protest at the residence of President Joseph Boakai demanding employment. The aggrieved individuals said they were private security officers assigned with President Joseph Boakai during the 2017 and 2023 elections. They are calling on President Boakai to fulfill his promise made to them now that he is the president of the country. The group's spokesperson, Jacob Boakai, said over 300 security officers sacrificed over the years using their personal resources to ensure that President Boakai wins the election, but they have since been forgotten by the Liberian chief executive. He threatened continuous protest actions if their grievances and plights are not addressed. Boakai, that's Jacob Boakai, spoke Thursday during a protest at the president's residence in Painesville. The Liberia Marketing Association has rejected allegations of corruption made by some aggrieved members recently. On Monday, the 24th of March, some aggrieved members of the LMA accused the management of corruption and called on the Ministry of Internal Affairs to intervene. But reacting to the accusation, the media consultant of the management of the LMA, Maurice Brown, claimed that there are no aggrieved members in the Liberia Marketing Association. According to Brown, the 5 members of the management have been influenced by the president of LMA, Elizabeth Sambola, and board member Councillor Lucini Ability to cause trouble as the day of election for a new leadership draws closer. When contacted, board member Councillor Lucini Ability described the allegation made against him as false and a calculated attempt to tarnish his reputation. For her part, LMA President Elizabeth Sambola said she will respond in due course, but did not comment on the allegation up to press time. The National Muslim Council of Liberia has called for unity in the wake of prayers ending the holy month of Ramadan. The Council Secretary General Kuku Rees disclosed that based on the background of Christian community and Islamic scholars will be observing to see the moon before declaring the end of the holy month of Ramadan. Speaking in an interview with the station in Kongatown on Thursday, Reeds cautioned Muslim institutions to be watching for the sighting of the moon before ending the month-long fasting. The National Muslim Council of Liberia Secretary General also appealed to Muslims to use the end of Ramadan to pray for the country and its leaders. The president of the Liberia Ministers Network Fellowship, Archbishop Olajala, has underscored the importance of teaching women their rights. Bishop Jala said it is important for women, especially Christian women, to know their rights and know that they are not properties of their husbands. Instead, they should consider themselves as gifts from God. Speaking Thursday at the close of the National Women Conference organized by the Liberia Ministers Network Fellowship in Painesville, Archbishop Olajala said the outcome of the conference is to bring about vocational skills training for women. For her part, the national coordinator of ICEG, Women Vegs and Evangelist of Victory Temple Church, Madam Evelyn Allison, acknowledged women in the country to make use of what is in their hands. She said women must know their importance in society, considering their roles as helpmates to their husbands. Also speaking, the participants thanked the organization for bringing what they described as educative conference, terming the workshop as knowledge sharing and an eye opener. And out of Liberia, the detention of South Sudan's first Vice President Riek Machar has effectively collapsed the 2018 peace deal that ended the 5-year civil war, his party has said. An armed convert led by top security officials, including the defense minister Ansel Makar's resident in the capital, Juba, and disarmed his bodyguards late on Wednesday, said the Sudan's People's Liberation Movement in opposition. Makar was detained alongside his wife Angelina Tenin, who is the country's interior minister, the party added. That's RC, and his bulletin is back to Marka Davis.
Ria TV, True FM.
Ria TV, True FM.
On Ria TV,
into Truth FM, that is his story.
What's the meaning of the black barrier?
The black barrier is to tell Joseph Bakala if you don't organize yourself in a grateful manner, we'll keep your plate.
You might say what you want to say, but for us, we are here to make sure we build our country, that we are respected. We have donors that are coming because of the confidence.
News Summary of 12. My name is Hansen Decker.
The Bulletin of News is a regular feature here on News Desk. Thanks to Naketa Roberts. If you're just joining us, you're listening to 45 minutes of news from Liberia and elsewhere. One of the top stories we are following tonight: Catholic priest Daniel George released by Criminal Code E after spending 6 months in prison on allegation of raping a 16-year-old girl in Monrovia. To this first development, President Joseph Boakai has launched Liberia's Financial Education and Literacy Program in the Pan-African Payment and Settlement System, PAMS. The initiatives, which are under the auspices of the Central Bank of Liberia, are set to play a critical role in advancing the government's arrest agenda for inclusive development by promoting financial inclusion and strengthening Liberia's economic position. In his launching address, President Boakai commended the commitment to supporting the government's development priorities through policies and initiatives that foster financial empowerment.
I'd like to Besides that, I want to assure the Liberians that The government got to do everything to invest in the democracy. That's the only way it's from looking for. We're going to invest in the private sector. The leadership, as much as it's from me, part of what we intend to do is road connection, the easier for you. I also want to add one of the things that we talk about is the communication central bank. It might sound a little bit something I would think about, but we have to run program and that goes to our people to teach them how to handle money.
Here's the voice of President Jutta Borkai speaking when he launched the Central Bank of Liberia's Financial Education and Literacy Program in the Pan-African Payment and Settlement System, PAPS. Renowned human rights lawyer Councillor Tiawan Gonglu has criticized the majority bloc of the House of Representatives for what he calls their recent disrespect to the ECOWAS mediation mission in Liberia. Councillor Gonglu said he expected members of the majority bloc headed by Representative Richard Kuhn to adhere to the recommendations proffered by the ECOWAS delegation to have the leadership crisis resolved. Councillor Gonglu spoke Thursday during a live appearance on Pram FM in Monrovia.
Some of the representatives led by the Kuhn group did not treat them properly. It is my understanding, other lawmakers out here, that when they came, they told the lawmakers the business of lawmaking is in the chambers. All the problems are resolved in the chambers. So they asked Speaker Kofa, are you prepared to convene a section? And after roll call and prayer, after prayer and roll call and everything, the preliminaries for the first issue of the agenda should to be to complete the case through. And then once that is put on the floor, you recuse yourself for the deputy speaker to take over. It is my understanding, and I said maybe it's subject to rebuttal. It is my understanding that he said yes. Then the ECOWAS protected to the Kuhn group. Are you now prepared to go and say we cannot sit under that Ms. Campbell? That for me is lawlessness. On the basis of that, I started calling them lawbreakers, dissident lawmakers, because what they did is not a good sign for our country. That's the first time that the issue has come. We have had other horse business on the snow and Tyler, but this is the first time that the ECOWAS came in. And why? Because they saw early warning signs of conflict. I said on radio, these are early warning signs of conflict. And you see, every week is descending into something else. And you cannot question ECOWAS' ability to mediate. They are the ones that came here to rate like the citizens die. Yeah. So when somebody has been in your country, they come, don't treat them like your business, you know. You interfere, no. ECOWAS has a stake in the peace of Liberia because it is ECOWAS.
At the same time, Councillor Gonglo said if the laws are not applied in removing the speaker, it could serve as precedent for illegal impeachment proceedings against the president. Councillor Gonglo believes that the ongoing saga at the lower house should not be given credence, especially when the majority lawmakers are not following the rule of law.
No, as a lawyer, I can't talk much about it. They say my whole long time, I said the ultra-virus bill that those who went ahead to remove Kofa, to appoint committee to do the budget. I even said the SONA was illegal because it was presided over by someone who had illegal gavel because there was no due process to remove Kofa. I've said all of that. And I strongly believe the Supreme Court clarified that to them because, you know, lawmaking is not against terrorism. It's not on the same majority. There are things to because Representative Kofa will be up to now, be able to get it for the 9 votes. If he had it for the 9 votes, he would have been the first call and then go to section. No other way. The law is the law. So let him, if he has it for the 9 vote, let him go to section. It's easy to remove Kofa by due process. But you can't say it's not about higher than this. Law is not about number, it's about reasoning. What the law says. And this is a bad precedent. If majority can remove him, can remove Kofa, and Liberian Port separate, the Senate, less than 2/3, can impeach the president.
He is Liberian human rights lawyer and former presidential candidate Tiawan Gonglo speaking in a radio interview today in Monrovia. The Monrovia Consolidated School System Teachers Association has called off its go-slow action following an agreement with the Ministry of Education. The signing of the agreement followed street demonstrations by students of the Monrovia Consolidated School System recently in Monrovia, demanding the government to address the plight of their teachers. MCSS Teachers Association President Augustine Yonyu signed on behalf of the association, while Deputy Education Minister for Instruction Amos Foley signed for the ministry. This signing, witnessed by 7 organizations, including a representative of the Education Secretariat of the National Legislature, among other things, mandated MCSS teachers to resume their duties and return to the classrooms by Friday, March 28. The president of the Teachers Association, Augustine Yonyu, spoke following the signing of the agreement.
I want to take you to the Executive Council who are the directors of the economic of the system. We are also grateful to our support for how the system is developed for the research study of the system with the partnership of the we are happy today want to give before all the teachers, including volunteers, security, caretaker, administrator, again to all to actually
Well, speaking on behalf of the Ministry of Education, Deputy Minister Amos Foley stressed the need for regular communication between the MCSS Teachers Association and the Ministry of Education. The agreement also resolved that all parties continue in collaboration to ensure that the clauses in the resolution are respected and fully implemented. Well, he's Deputy Education Minister for Instruction, Amos Foley there. Speaking earlier on, you listened to the president of the MCSS Teachers Association, Augustine Yonyu, spoke at the signing of an agreement that ended a go-slow action launched recently by the aggrieved teachers. The group, claiming to be private security officers, has staged a peaceful protest at the residence of President Boakai demanding employment. The aggrieved individuals said they were private security officers assigned with President Boakai during the 2017 and 2023 elections. They are calling on the president to fulfill his promises made to them now that he is president of the country. The group spokesperson, Jacob Boakai, spoke to the press today during their protest.
We were in a campaign we supported the old man to the 40s. After the campaign, there was a message given to us by the old man. The old man said that he would deal with us according to our leaders. With H.I. Johnson, the EPA director, deputy director for administration. So since then, after we left the year, they kick us the dogs that we are not human beings. At the time we were protecting the old man, they never know that was not human being. But after the election, when he become the president, that will become enemy to the people. So from that time, people also will be moving, writing letters from ministry to ministry, sending listing of our men, out of 305 persons, sending a listing around, nobody to hear our cry. So one upon the time we summon our guys to the president residence for him to know that what's going on with us, we are not pleased with it. So right away he sent us delegate from anyhow, they come, they talk to us. I thought they talked to us, what they were just making a fun to us. So after that, we talk to them, there is nothing. So get straight around. We decide so you can get your own man. We come to Elaine, talk to us because people carry rumors around that everybody are working, which of course is lies. All these people that you see, a majority of them lost their property, they lost their loved one, they lost their children. Just to support Joseph Boakai to become a president. We used to go there with hunger, we sleep with hunger, we pay our way. Over these years, nothing. We don't take a cent for Joseph Boakai.
When you become president,
Yes.
when you got promise that you get such amount or certain amount for your services to him as an individual.
He didn't talk about a man. He said he's going to employ every one of us. He told us in a prayer release when he was talking to us, telling us thank you, and he was forced to talk to us. He was forced by Chad Johnson, and that us, Tano Kesele.
Well, he is the spokesperson of a group claiming to be private security officers who were assigned to President Boakai during the 2017 and 2023 elections, demanding employment from the president. Well, we have passed the hour mark. This is a reminder that you are listening to News Dex. Let's now cross over to Naomi Tapia to bring us sports tonight.
Welcome to the passion of life. The Nigeria Basketball Association leadership has expressed concern regarding players, coaches, and referees who might be tempted to participate in illegal tournaments or festivals. You can be recorded, the president of the Nigeria Basketball Association Coaches Association, Raffi Cunning, warned coaches about participating in league that is not sanctioned by the Basketball Association residents in the country due to the proliferation of leagues. During stakeholders' engagement held recently at a basketball gym in Queensville City, the Nigeria Basketball Association leadership warned the parties involved to desist as those who would defy the mandate will be dealt with accordingly. The daily engagement centered around scores of issues, including dialogue with stakeholders on rules in the new league season, which commences on April 6, 2025. Increase in prize money for winners, the issues of registration fees, transfer of players, LBA to be aware of every tournament or festival organized in the country, and LBA's commitment to improving basketball amongst others. Meanwhile, the Nigeria Basketball Association leadership used the occasion to remind club owners, presidents, coaches, and others that the registration for the new 2025-26 league season will end this Friday, March 29, 2025. The Nigeria Kickball Federation will officially kick off its Myean Sub Association league season on 12 April 2025 for the 2025-26 league season in Myean County. The Myean Sub Association chairperson, Roland Naketa made the disclosure in an exclusive interview with Liberian Sports International recently, noting that all is now set for the new league season. Yuma said, though there are still challenges, but no matter what the situation is, the league will commence since the leadership has authorized them to do so. He added that the Jamboree, which precedes the league and the Super Cup, will be played March 29 and April 6 respectively. Meanwhile, United Warriors and Casalicana United or Kiki United battle in the first week of the Nigeria Kickball Federation on Thursday. The match ended 1-1 in the first match of the day. In Game 2, Soba Kickball Club bound to Destiny Kickball Club 2-2 home runs for defending champions. Official Kickball Club dragged Gates of Zion 5-0 home runs to end all Thursday's fixtures. And international developments, the Premier League has announced it will have 2 transfer windows this summer to allow Manchester City and Chelsea to sign players before the Football Cup. The window will open between Sunday, 1 June and Tuesday, 10 June, then close for 5 days before running again from Monday, 16 June until Monday, 1 September. These summer fixtures, the first expanded FIFA Club World Cup, which involves 32 teams and adopts the format of the regular World Cup of the past few years. Chelsea and Manchester City are the Premier League teams in the tournament, which takes place in the United States on Sunday, 15 June. but a given league can only have 12 weeks of a summer window, hence the 5-day break in order to run it until 1 September. FIFA has allowed new players to be registered for the Club World Cup from 1 to 10 June and again from 27 June to 3 July for the knockout stage. Western have been charged by the Football Association of alleged homophobic chanting by the fans during last month's 2-1 loss at Chelsea. The FA said the club were being charged with misconduct in relation to crowd control. It alleged the club failed to ensure its spectators did not behave in an improper, offensive, abusive, indecent, or insulting way with reference to sexual orientation. This after the match played on Monday, 3 February, Western released a statement which strongly condemns the discriminatory and homophobic chants aimed towards opposition supporters. And finally, as the winger Kayu Saka to be named in the squad of face Fulham in the Premier League next week. The trio has been out since December after sustaining a hamstring tear in the wing at Crystal Palace, which needed surgery. Saka's recovery schedule has gone according to plan and he's now back in full training. However, the Gunners are continuing to be cautious with his return and will make a final decision closer to Tuesday's match. Bearing in unexpected delay, the England tackle should be available to face Real Madrid in the Champions League quarterfinals in April. Last week, BBC Sport revealed Arsenal are set to open final contract talks with Saka, who is entering the final 2 years of his deal. That's all from our sports desk.
Well, thanks to Naomi Tapia for bringing us sports tonight on News Dex. If you're just joining us, you are listening to 45 minutes of news from Liberia, Africa, and the rest of the world. To this story now, the president of the Liberia Ministers Network Fellowship, Archbishop Dr. Ola Jala, has underscored the importance of teaching women their rights. Bishop Jala said it is important for women, especially Christian women, to know their rights and to know that they are not properties of their husbands. Instead, they should consider themselves as gifts from God. Speaking Thursday at the close of the National Women Conference organized by the Liberia Ministers Network Fellowship in Painesville, Archbishop Ola Jala said the outcome of the conference is to bring about vocational skills training to empower women.
Acknowledge that this program has been very successful. The Liberia Ministers Network Partnership decided to be exposed to 3 days women bringing women together to their churches and community purpose, empowering women, training them to understand the skill, also advocate for the rights. Well, the churches don't have much time to teach women the right on Sunday. So 65% of the population in each church in this country, women are being 65% of women. And they don't know the right. They don't know the importance of the right. So the conference has put an opportunity at least to know the right and to know the importance of teaching skill.
For part, the national coordinator of ECA, that's RCEJ Women Dex and Evangelist Victory Temple Church, Madam Evelyn Allison, admonished women in the country to make use of what is in their hands. She said women must know their importance in society, considering their role as helpmates to their husbands.
So women of this great nation, make use of what is in your hands. Be a woman. Someone may ask a question. Women are made. Women are stronger than you think. Women are people with potential. Women are creative. Women have produced what God has deposited in.
Also speaking, the participants thanked the organizers for bringing what they described as educative conference, terming the workshop as knowledge sharing and an eye opened up. The Office of the Establishment of War and Economic Crimes Court in Liberia, in collaboration with CSOs, have ended a day-long gender mainstreaming dialogue in Monrovia. The dialogue held under the theme Fostering Inclusive Dialogue for Gender Mainstreaming in the Establishment of War and Economic Crimes Code and Anti-Corruption Court in Liberia is part of MOU recently signed among the OWECCL, Ongosa, and Integrity Watch Liberia to ensure gender responsiveness in the establishment of the courts. Giving an overview of the dialogue on Thursday, OWECCL Gender Director Adrian Julian stressed that the partnership is the demonstration of the three organizations' willingness to include everyone and further promote the inclusion of women in Liberia's transitional justice system.
As the result of a memorandum of understanding signed among Integrity Watch Liberia, ITBL, the Women NGO Secretariat of Liberia, Bunkoson, and the Office of the Establishment of the War and Economic Crimes Court of Liberia, OEC. The three organizations agreed to collaborate in the thematic area of gender mainstreaming to ensure that OEC's framework for the establishment of the courts is gender responsive.
In remarks on behalf of the head of the Office for the Establishment of War and Economic Crimes Code, the Director for the Division of Anti-Corruption Code, Anti-Corruption, Councillor Asadoba Kenneth, disclosed that the office enters into the partnership to ensure the women of Liberia are key to the process.
OEC entered this unique partnership in order to ensure that the role of women in Liberia is key to the process. As we all deliberate today, we want you to know that this process is inclusive, regardless of your status, your religion, your occupation. We all are in it together as Liberians.
For part, United Nations Resident Coordinator in Liberia, Christine Omotoni, stressed the importance of integrating gender sensitivity into transitional justice system, admonishing that the process be holistic.
The United Nations promotes a holistic approach to transitional justice. At the UN, we are committed to a transitional justice process that promotes compliance with international norms and standards. We encourage innovative solutions tailored to the country's context that is fit for purpose, with a holistic and long-term perspective linked with other reform processes.
It has emerged that members of the Democratic Party or the Democratic People Party of Liberia will on this Saturday meet to recalibrate and restructure their political institution in Margibi County. It comes since the end of the 2023 general and presidential elections in Liberia. The gathering, according to the political leader of the party, Reverend David Kemo, will attract members of the party's executive committee to brainstorm on the way forward to making the party more acceptable politically.
Since the election, we as a party haven't met because I was traveling, other party officials were traveling with the Democratic People's Party of Liberia. That's the party I represent, DPPL. This coming weekend, Saturday, in Disco Hill, the Executive Committee of the Democratic People's Party of the Republic of Liberia will be meeting the first time after the elections to restructure, reorganize, and reset our course towards 2029.
Well, finally, the National Muslim Council of Liberia has called for unity in the wake of prayers ending the holy month of Ramadan. The Council Secretary General Coco Reeves disclosed that based on the background, a Crescent Committee and Islamic scholars will be observing to see the moon before declaring the end of the holy month of Ramadan.
Kindly call on those who may have commenced their fast before the majority of the Muslim community to align their Eid celebration accordingly. A unified day of Eid strengthens brotherhood and strengthens our sense of unity as an Ummah. Let us stand together in harmony and celebrate this blessed occasion as one body.
Well, this is how we love to come to the end of tonight's presentation of News Dex. But before we go, these are the top stories we followed. President Joseph Boakai launches Liberia's financial education and literacy program, says financial education is key to financial inclusion. Catholic priest Daniel George released by Criminal Code E after spending 6 months in prison on allegation of rape. Following violent student protests in Monrovia recently, MCSS Teachers Association ends stay-home action after signing an agreement with the Ministry of Education calls on all teachers to return to the classrooms this Friday. And out of Liberia, the detention of South Sudan's first Vice President Riek Machar has effectively collapsed the 2018 peace deal that ended the country's 5-year civil war, his party says. Well, many thanks to all of our reporters and all those who helped to make this edition of News Dex a success. Naketa Roberts read for us the Bulletin of News. Naomi Tapia brought us post tonight on News Dex. Johnson Batoman sat at control and coordinated the sounds. Behind the cameras is Myean Torgbean, thanks to our sponsors Orange Liberia and EcoBank Liberia Limited. My name is Marka Davis. Good night.
Ria TV, True FM.
Ria TV, True FM.
On Ria TV.
Into True FM 96.1.
What's the meaning of the black barrier?
The black barrier is to tell Joseph Boakai if you don't organize yourself in a respectful manner, we'll keep your data Liberia.
You might say what you want to say, but for us, we are here to make sure we build our country, that we are respected. We have donors that are coming because of the confidence.
Some news, summary of 12. My name is Naketa Roberts. Welcome to News and Analysis 30 minutes of news presentation about Liberia, Africa, and our one world.
Presenting this newscast is proudly sponsored by Orange Liberia and EcoBank Liberia Limited.
How is life after the presidency?
But before the presidency, the same life that what you see. I live a different life. You know, when I was not president, this life that what I live. You know, with my family and
I have a lot of interest in the health sector, the educational sector, and the agriculture sector. Roads, connecting roads in this country.
Yeah, we are calling international community to come to intervene for us because, like I just stated previously, we don't know who to trust.
Always make sure to turn on to our
Ria TV and listening to True FM 96.1.